know,
Right.
this brother is like when he passed away, they kind of walked his whole name to the curb like he was nobody. You know what I'm saying? It was all about Suge, but what he was is he was one of the high powered, most. He was one of the baddest businessmen in Compton history. You feel me? This brother had a lowrider shop. He had a limousine company. He had a tow truck company. He had all kind of businesses, and all he did, he had a badass car lot. Excuse my language. He had,
Do you think?
huh?
No, I said, do you think?
Yeah, he had the first car lot. He was the first person that we ever knew of that would sell cars with rims on it already fixed up on his line.
Of the freedom of speech.
The other side of the non-disclosure agreements, the agreements.
The perfect cleanse and reboot for a healthy immune system. 100% natural. Miracle Food is suitable for all ages. Get your Miracle Food today.
Like my first real estate project was a shopping center, if that makes sense. Or most people flipping houses today. My first project was watching someone, being a part of someone, reading, figuring out which piece of dirt to buy, what type of building should we put on it. Are we going to use brick? Are we going to use wood? Are we going to buy into a franchise? Or are we going to create our own franchise? I was there all the way to watch. Should we hire little Pookie to run the burger stand cash register? You feel me? I had to learn all of that at a very young age.
Right.
Yeah, so it was just very interesting. And on the other side of the street, I had my other buddies. Compton is the lowrider capital of the world. So I had my other buddies. They were sitting there building cars because everybody had lowriders. So on this hand, I'm watching these cats build a shopping center. On the other hand, I'm sitting over here watching these cats working on lowriders all day. So I'm just learning both of these things. We putting aircraft hydraulics in the trunk of a '63 Chevy Impala, hypothetically speaking. So that turned out, what I didn't realize was back in those days that we were the only ones that had lowriders. So let's say it was about 3,000 lowriders in Compton, LA, and Watts, California. So we thought that everybody around the world had lowriders because that was like a common car for everybody. That was everybody's first car. You know what I mean? Old raggedy Chevy or something with hydraulics. So old Cadillac or something. So as we turned around, Compton started becoming successful and known for rap. So of course, all the rappers wanted to put lowriders in their videos. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize at the time I was learning from a guy by the name of Gary May. Gary May partnered up with a guy familiar with Terry Carter, the guy Suge Knight ran over.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, sir.
Yeah, so that was my partner. They was partners. Gary May, Terry Carter started the lowrider shop together. And I would turn around and be sitting there learning all this stuff from these guys over the years. And then the next thing you know, they started putting all these cars in these videos. Terry Carter would tell me, you guys, you need to learn this stuff because everybody's going to start opening businesses. So I kind of just grew up. Like Terry Carter was the guy when I was young. He was the one riding around in the rag Rolls Royce Corniche. You know what I'm saying? So it's like whatever he doing, I want to do it too.
Right.
This brother is like when he passed away, they kind of walked his whole name to the curb like he was nobody. You know what I'm saying? It was all about Suge, but what he was one of the high-powered, he was one of the baddest businessmen in Compton history. You feel me? This brother had a lowrider shop. He had a limousine company. He had a tow truck company. He had all kind of businesses, and all he did, he had a badass car lot. Excuse my language. He had.
Do you think? No, I said, do you think?
Yeah, he had the first car lot. He was the first person that we ever knew of that would sell cars with rims on it already fixed up on his line. Now that's like the standard. You can't just go to the lot and buy something; it always be fixed up. So that's accredited to Terry Carter. So anyway, he was one of the ones. Him and Gary May inspired me to start a business. Building lowriders. Of course, I'm leaving some parts out. What's interesting was that was a huge initiative. Before we can start building cars for building lowriders for the videos, we had to kind of eliminate that gang violence atmosphere going on in Compton. We had to separate the gang violence from lowriding because lowriding had a bad stigmatism on it, as in, oh, these guys are gang members. So we had to separate this. So that's literally been my life's work, pretty much, is working with the gangs to separate that name. So when I was young, they came back to me and said that, because I deal with everybody. I had some Wells around the corner that was a Crip. He's like the richest cat in Compton, they said, when he went to jail. Then you had these other cats in my neighborhood that it was all very wealthy. All these cats have been in the news. But fast forward the story, they created that initiative and they put me like the spokesperson that you're gonna be the one, because all these different cats and Crips. We want you to go in there and help us to remove that gang violence atmosphere from lowrider. That's what we ended up doing. And before you know it, it's like it started raining opportunities. We're doing videos, we're doing movies, TV shows, commercials. So it just exploded. And the next thing you know, it's like raining money. And all of a sudden, the gang atmosphere was gone, and it was just a wonderful situation. Now everybody can drive their lowriders without having problems. And then we got Blood and Crip lowrider car clubs. When I started my first business, it was called Express Gold Plating in Gardena, California. And then with that business, I was able to turn around and I realized all the money we were spending in lowriding, I wanted to keep it back for ourselves. You know what I mean? Because we were dealing with a lot of racism back then. Like, where you guys getting this money and how can you afford this? Especially when you deal with people that don't like you. So it's like, okay, well, we need to start buying tow trucks. We need to start opening our own paint shops. We need to start opening our own sandblasters, our own powder coaters. We need to muffler shops. So, man, we just literally went through this whole thing where everybody started investing in businesses. So everybody who came home from prison, from feds, or something like that, I would give them a tow truck, a little $2,500 tow truck, and tell them go hang out over there on the corner, and if somebody get in an accident, charge them $50, and then bring them over here to the paint shop, and we're gonna get a cut off of that. So years later, all these guys got like 20 and 30 tow trucks now, and all of them multi-millionaires. It's a whole huge industry of us building cars from the top to the bottom. So now we started getting guys calling from the East Coast saying, hey, I got 40 of those convertible 59, 57 Chevy. You guys are putting in those videos and stuff in my ranch out here at Rome, Georgia, or in Kentucky. So we ended up buying car carriers. You see the car carriers on the freeway, the 10 car carriers? So we would buy those, and I would get a little pookie in them to get out of the feds or whatever. I'd be like, all right, I need you to go. You need some money? I ain't got no money. I got a job for you. Okay, I need you to go to Mississippi and pick up them 25, 57 Chevys and 59s and Fords, right? And then bring them back. Like I said, years later, all those guys grew up to be very wealthy. That is one of the most lucrative industries coming out of Compton for Black people to have businesses in the tow industry, moving cars around from coast to coast.
Powerful, powerful. I want to interject a little bit, and I want to kind of just go back and talk about the gentrification thing. Now, I like how you break down in your book, like you broke down like when the stadium or Tyler Perry studio will come in, like you say, like maybe, people are going to want, let's just say, a car dealership comes in, people are going to want to buy houses there. People are going to go get coffee. They want to get massages. They want to go get, food. So you kind of break that down in the book. So at what age did you begin to observe the area around you and see, okay, this is gentrification going on? And for the people who don't know, what is gentrification?
Well, to me, gentrification is when someone has a plot to take over this particular city. They say, okay, well, we want that area. The weather in LA is the most beautiful weather in America. You know what I'm saying? They call Compton, LA, and Watts the golden triangle of real estate. It is the most undervalued real estate in the country because the problems that we have in Georgia, or if I'm driving my convertible, I can't leave the top down while I run into the store real quick. You know what I'm saying? I come out, it'd be flooded. You know, it's made out of nowhere. But in Compton, you can do all of that. You know, I can go ride my boat today on the beach, and then park the boat, and then jump up and go out to the mountains and go skiing, all at the same day. So all the celebrities, the wealthy, want to move there. But what opened the door for me was I was spending like $10,000 to $20,000 a month advertising in these lowrider magazines, right, to represent my business because I manufacture, do a bunch of different things. So I started noticing other businesses were opening up en route to my business, right? So when you own a business, you have to be very strategic because competition will open up right across the street from you. Yeah. So in 2002, I opened my business in early like 91, 92, something like that. By 2002, it was a lot of shops there all over the place. So I expanded to Palmdale, California. But the reason how I noticed gentrification was I found out years later there was this new company called SpaceX that moved into my neighborhood. This wealthy guy sold his thing called PayPal, you know what I'm saying, named Elon Musk, and moved into the middle of a black neighborhood called Hawthorne. And the reason how I figured something was wrong was because all of a sudden, you know, the city was cool with us. They didn't give us no problems. But now all of a sudden we getting tow truck is getting tickets. The police is pulling all my trucks over, giving all these guys tickets. They going up into the barbershops and giving them tickets. They all of a sudden they taking people's houses because they didn't pay their taxes. It's like, what the hell? What's going on? You know, I realized that somebody making a move on us. Somebody had mentioned to me, they said somebody mentioned to me that they saw Steven Spielberg put an offer in to buy the post office. So now I'm into real estate in a major way. So my point is, I realized that they were making a move to take out Los Angeles, and I'd always heard rumors of Los Angeles that they were going to make by a certain time they were going to get rid of all the African Americans out of LA. So I always heard that California was going to be for the wealthy. So I predicted, I said by 21 we shouldn't be no more black people here because everybody gone. But fast forward the story, getting back to the gentrification piece, this is what's going on right now. When we realized that SpaceX had moved in, I know a business they bringing in a lot of employees, so that means they're going to want those houses around that corporation. So whenever a corporation comes in, they cut a deal with the city. The city is the one who invited them most likely. So they cut a deal with the city. The city said, we're going to do this. We'll probably get rid of all the blacks by 2020. Someone said that was called Vision 2020. I think Nipsey probably mentioned that or something like that. They would bring in all these people to work with them on this thing called Vision 2020. But what that really was, they wanted all the blacks out of LA by 2020. But when I realized Elon Musk was in town and what he was doing, we've been going back and forth for years. I told all my buddies, all those tow truck guys, to start buying all the houses and all the buildings around that shopping, around that facility, because I know once a business once they acquire like 60% of the real estate, they have the right to go to the city and say, hey, why is this business here? Or why is this college here? Why is this black HBCU here in the middle of a white neighborhood? We don't want that here. My children can't go there. You feel me?
Wow.
So yeah, go ahead, bro.
No. One interesting story you were telling us at the convention.
Last, but this ain't just a podcast. This is Sam and O podcast. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Oh God, driving Sam and riding passenger side, and you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Hip hop uncensored is the vibe, so subscribe. Oh God, driving Sam and riding passenger side, and you heard it out the mouth of the greatest rapper alive. Go gang.